Hello there, everyone. This is Mr. D. This is chapter 7 of the Holy Chronicles for Genesis. This is where I am going to take everybody through who listens to my videos, the stories and the chapters per per chapter all the way through this book, Genesis. Now, if you have marked my subscribe button, please do so. I really appreciate it. Now, this chapter 7 comes after, of course, chapter 5, when Noah also was born of Lamech his father, and he also had 3 sons. Now it says here, when Noah was 500 years old, I couldn't imagine. 500 years and has 3 boys, and they called them Ham, Shem, Shem, and Japheth. Well, these boys and him were given a task. God spoke to Noah in chapter 6 and told him how bad the world was coming. And he was going to redo it. He was going to get rid of all the wickedness. And Noah was going to be part of it. And he was going to have to help save animals and save the world so it can continue on after the things God was going to do, which of course we all know was the great flood. The flood that took every living creature on this planet, which is in chapter 7 of Genesis, if you want to read about it. And it goes as so. And the Lord said unto Noah, Come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in the generation, this generation. He's seen how they follow him, how they honor God. Of every, oh, he's going to say what all the stuff you should be. And this was kind of covered in the previous chapter, if you read chapter 6. It says, Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by 7, and male and his female, and the beasts that are not clean by 2, the male and his female. Now, of course, at this time we have not exactly been told what's clean and not clean, so it kind of tells you that maybe Moses is putting a few things in ahead of time because it hasn't been actually, I think, said yet. But yes, I believe God was very clear telling them what was clean and not clean, even though we haven't heard it before this time. For yet 7 days I will cause rain to pour on the earth, 40 days and 40 nights. Every living substance that I have made will I destroy from all the face of this earth. Oh, I left off in verse 3 about how there also needs to be 7 males and females of, looks like, that birds? Yeah, fowls. Fowls too. We need that too with the birds. So we drop back down to verse 5, and it says, And Noah did according unto all the Lord commanded. And Noah was 600 years old when the flood came. So that's like 100 years after the birth of his children at the age of 500. Now the flood's coming. Well, they've been built this ark and all this that had occurred. And I know the guys didn't build it when they were babies. Um, I'm sure they spent quite a that time helping their father. And Noah went in, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons. Yeah, it was 600 years when the flood of the water was upon the earth. And it says in number 7, And Noah went in, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him into the ark, because the water of the flood was coming. Now, the picture of the background, kind of where the ark could be sitting on the mount where it was built, but I think this is kind of illustrating kind of where it's landing. And when it was built, it was probably on flat land. Probably wasn't mountain ridges like this. If it was, it would have been hard to build it. more or less one flat. But when it's water's coming down, this is the kind of picture you would want to see. And that looks like a pretty nice arc, pretty big. And according to what my research was, a cubit, which I think is a 300 cubit length, a cubit is a foot and a half, 18 inches about. So you'd want to figure on 300 cubits, at least 300 feet plus half. That's 450 feet. That's a big boat. I mean, and 50 cubits wide, that's probably about 75 feet wide. So I would say that could hold a lot of animals. So let's get back up here. Number, uh, and we're going to go to verse 11. And in 600 years, Noah's life, in the second month of the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were open, and the rain was upon the earth, and 40 days, 40 nights. That's a lot of water. In this self same day entered Noah, and Shem, and Ham, and Japheth, and the sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the three wives of his sons with them into the ark. They and every beast after his kind, and all the cows after their kind, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon this earth after his kind, and every fowl after their kind, every bird of every sort. And they went into the ark with Noah, and two of all flesh, wherein is the breath of life. And they that went in, male and female. Not male and female, male and female, the way God wanted our lives to be. His couples, male and female. And as God had commanded him, and Lord shut him in. So this ark you see behind me, let's see if I can get to the side. Oh, you see? It looks like there could have been the door on the side, and they shut it. That takes some power for God to shut that door. So, and it starts up on verse 17, where my book says, the flood. The waters are coming. The waters are coming. And the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased and increased and bare up to the ark, and it was lifted above the earth. And the waters prevailed and were increased greatly upon the earth, and the ark went upon the face of the waters. And the waters prevailed exceedingly on the earth. And all the high hills, and where under the whole heavens were covered. 15 cubits upon upward did the waters prevail, and mountains were covered, and all the flesh died that moved upon the earth. Wonder where it went. Probably rotten in the water. Both the fowl and cattle and beasts and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, and every man. Pretty massive. Everybody died on the earth. All in whose nostril was the breath of life, and all that was in the dry land died. And every living substance was destroyed, which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle, and the creeping things of fowls of the heaven. And they were destroyed from the earth. Noah only remained alive, and they that were in the ark with him also. And the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. That's a long time. It was like 352 days a year, something like that. Something like that. I probably could be all wet in the head. You never know. This age, you just keep going, and they keep getting older. But half a year, that's a long time to be out of water. I mean, stuck on a place where there's no land or nothing. Well, that was chapter 7. And chapter 8 will be coming up. I don't think I'm going to include it here. Let's take a quick look. Wow, look at that. Chapter 8 is pretty small. Let's take a gamble with chapter 8. Let's add chapter 8. Let's make this chapter 7 and chapter 8. Noah. Noah enters the ark. Noah and the flood. Noah and the flood waters recede. Chapter 8. Noah. The waters are receding, and God remembered Noah and every living thing and all the cow that was with him in the ark. And God made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters a surge, whatever that word is, a surge. I think it means it went down. The fountains also of the deep and the windows of the heaven were stopped, and the rain from the heaven was restrained. And the waters returned from off the earth continually. And after the end of 150 days, the waters were abated. And the ark rested in the seventh month, on the 17th day of the month, upon the mountain called Arat. Arat. And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. Oh, so we're going to go from the 7th month to the 10th month. And the 10th month, on the first day of the month, where the tops of the mountains were seen. Well, now they can see there's land around. Like, so if this was water here that you see on the scenery, this would be all water, and you see a little bit of mountains before you landed on that land. Okay. And it came to pass the end of the 40 days that Noah opened the windows of the ark which he had made. And as he sent forth a raven, which went forth to and fro until the waters were dried up from off the earth. Now, why he sends a raven before he's going to send this dove, I have no idea what the significance was. This one bird was bigger than the other. I don't know. And then he sent also a dove from him. And he sees the water was abating from off the face of the ground. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot, and she returned. He returned unto him until the ark of the waters were on the face of the whole earth. Then he put forth his hand, took her, pulled her in unto him into the ark, and he stayed yet other 7 days. He waited a week. And again he sent this dove out. So I assume he thought that waiting 7 days might give that time for the land to resituate. And the dove came in to him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. So Noah knew that the waters were abated from off the earth. And he stayed yet other 7 days, or another week, and sent forth the dove, which returned not at all, because he liked where it found. Okay. And it came to pass that in 600th, and when the 601st year, and the first month, and the first day of the month, the waters were dried up from the earth. Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked, and behold, the face of the ground was dry. And the second month, and the seventh, the 25th day of the month, was the earth dried. The earth was dry. Hmm. That was a pretty quick flood when you think 150 days. Oh, just a little bit of water. And it goes here in verse 15, and where Noah and his family are about ready to leave the ark, start the whole new world, you know. They're gonna, hopefully evil is not following them through from the evil before the flood. And God spake unto Noah, saying, Go forth of the ark, thou and thy wife, and thy son's wife with thee. Bring forth with thee every living thing that is with thee, of all flesh, both the fowl and the cattle, and creepy things, that they may breed abundantly on the earth, and be fruitful and multiply upon the earth. And Noah went forth, and his sons and his wives, and his sons' wives with him, and every beast and every creeping thing went with them out into the world. And Noah made a sacrifice. Noah wanted to make sure God knew that he was happy, that God remembered him, and that he was blessed by God being his his support, his blessing, his pillar of strength. And Noah built an ark unto the Lord, and took every clean beast and every clean fowl, and offered burnt offerings in the altar. And the Lord smelled the sweet savor. And the Lord said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake, for the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I again smite any more everything living. Now, this is very important, by the way. This is probably one of the most important parts during Genesis in this chapter that we need to remember. And God said, let me find it again. The Lord said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake, and for man being, the way they are. For the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I again smite any more or everything in the living as I have done, while the earth remaineth seed time, and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and the day and night shall not cease. Yeah. Let's see here. I think it's the end of chapter 9. Do you know what? We have stories. We have lots of stories in today's world. It seems to be the big thing that we're all going to die. Which, of course, we all are going to die. But we're all going to die, whether it's in a flood, an earthquake, a tornado, or terrorists coming over and bombing our whole country to pieces. We're not going to be destroyed by a flood because God told us that. And I believe that what's in the scripture is true. And why do I believe it's true? Because too many things in my life have happened, and you have not had a chance to hear them all because you haven't heard all my stories that God has given to me to give to you about why God is real and not other religious faiths that follow some kind of a statue or an idol or some kind of structure. God is real, and He's here in our heart. He's here around us. He's here up and above us. Angels are here to help us. We should take advantage of it. So He's saying He's not going to have a flood again to destroy all of the world. If we were going to be destroyed, we'd be destroyed some other way besides the flood. And that, I am sure you're going to find out in the coming adventures of the Holy Chronicles. So, I look forward to see you at chapter 8. Take too long. God bless you. And this is Mr. D. You have a great day.